guys, and welcome back to AJ's Masquerade. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do latch hooking. Roll the intro. So this is my first time trying this type of video. We'll see how it goes, because I'm also trying to film another time lapse at the same time, because these are expensive and I don't want to waste what I have. So here I just have a latch hook kit. You can get them at Michael's. They're fairly expensive, you just have to watch out for when they're on sale and stuff. And then the other thing you'll need is a latch hook, and then probably some sticky notes and plastic baggies, which I actually need to run and get right now. Alright, now I've got my baggies, some sticky notes, and a highlighter that's important too. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the kit. So I've been latch hooking for a good amount of time now. It's probably the first crafty thing I actually got into, because I tried cross stitch and crocheting and stuff, and I just didn't like it. But latch hook is really cool. It's really similar to cross stitch in the way the patterns work. You put it onto a canvas, you can kind of see here. That's really big, but they're all individual strands, as you'll see in a minute. So the things that come with the kit are the canvas, the strings, there's a lot of these, and the pattern. So other things you'll have to provide are the latch hook. Some beginner kits do come with the latch hook, but most of them do not, so you might have to buy it online or in the latch hook section of the craft store separately. And latch hooks are usually by the embroidery floss, in my experience, because I love both latch hooks and embroidery floss, of course. Then I have the highlighter for marking the pattern, which we'll get to in a second, and sticky notes and baggies to sort out all of the colors. On a lot of patterns, you don't have to sort out the colors as, I guess, devotedly as I am doing here. Oh, wow. Hang on. I have not had a color pattern in so long. Hello? This is a fairly difficult latch hook to still have a color pattern. That's kind of weird. Alright, we have an outlier here. I'm digging it, though. So here's what it will look like eventually. And here is my color key, which also has, some pretty good colors here. Matching latch hook colors is actually really hard, because as far as I'm aware, there's not really a good standard like there is for DMC. I guess they have the marks, but I've had things that have the same name, not number, that looked completely different before, so we'll see how that goes. So what I do is usually within the bundles, all of the colors are present in any given one, just because it's easier for the machines to print it out. So just open one of them and line up all of the colors with the key here so that you know which color goes with which number. Some latch hook kits, like the last one I do have bags separated by colors already, but I find that this is more standard, so this is my go-to thing. Though I haven't had to do it for the last one I've done, so we'll see if I remember. So I'm just going to open this and unwind it and then match all of the colors to each other, and then once I do that for just this one, I'll match them all to the colors here. Alright, so I have all my colors from the first bundle sorted, and I have 22 of them, and there are 22 on the list, so it lines up, and I don't have to struggle with that this time, because that's my least favorite part of latch hook ever. Most of the colors are pretty easy to tell the difference between these two. Well, it might be even harder on this crappy camera, but these two browns are pretty close, so I'll have to be careful about those. But other than that, I'm all good. So the next thing to do is write out all of the colors and match them to make sure they're the right ones, because you'll have different amounts of different colors and you don't want to accidentally mix them. I've done that so many times, it's not fun. So the next thing I'm going to do is line up all the colors and try and figure out which one's which, make sure that I'm good, try to compare it to the pattern to make sure that it all makes sense and how much of the color I have, and then undo all of the bundles and start on the actual latch hook. Alright, so I've set up all of the colors. Ignore the arrangement. I'm trying to be aesthetic for my time lapse. Okay, let me live. I think I've got all of them right. I'm a little bit nervous about... Oh, you can't even see them. Lovely. I'm a little bit nervous about down there, the mahogany, the brown, and the brick. I think they're good, though, because I've had a lot of these colors before in other kits, which made it easy for me. Like the dusty blue, I remember I've had that several times, and the gold, medium gold crap. So I'm pretty sure I have all of my colors down, and now all I have to do is sort all of them. So that's going to take a really long time. Actually, I'll probably have to come back tomorrow because I have to leave for work in an hour, and it's going to take me a lot longer to deal with all of these. How many of these are there? Give me one moment. Alright, there's 17, including the one that I have laid out here, so it's gonna take a hot minute. But before I do that, I'll go ahead and give you what I normally do, which is just, you take the baggie, and you can go ahead and write on the baggie too. I may or may not, I haven't decided yet. And just shove all of that color and the sticky note in there. And then just do that with all of them, and just, yeah, for like hours. So I'll see you either later tonight or tomorrow with what to do once you've put all of your colors in bags so that they're all easily sorted and recognizable. Alright, so I just got everything sorted. It took a really long time and I had to go to work in between, so now it's like midnight-ish, but the show must go on. So I'm gonna bag these up real quick and then be right back. Alright, so now that those are all bagged up, we're ready to properly start. So here's my canvas. It's a pretty decent size. Let's check. Yeah, so that's a little bit smaller than the one I did before, maybe like 2/3 of it. So it's already folded, so I'm gonna decide where to start. Sometimes the patterns will tell you where you're supposed to, and I usually don't listen. Also, those are made with like right-handed people in mind, and I'm left-handed and always start on the left. So I'm going to start in the left top-hand corner of this. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I start in a good place so that I don't know how easy it is to see on here, the blue lines on the canvas line up with the blue lines on the pattern, because they'll help me figure it out when I inevitably don't do what you're supposed to and do things in chunks instead of straight across. So there's 10 across and 10 down in each square, and then same goes on the pattern, so I'm just going to line up there. Other thing I'm going to figure out is which way it goes. For this pattern is bigger this way, so I'm going to do it sideways, and yep, I'm actually starting where the pattern tells me to this time, so there's that, I lied. So I'm going to put my pattern in the same direction that I'm going to be using it. Let me hold it over, because I'm not going to use this. Actually, I am, because I need it for the symbols. Never mind, I'm a liar. So the first thing I'm going to do is check that it starts in the corner of one of the squares. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. And then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 70-ish across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm perfectly fine. There will be plenty of room. So I'm gonna actually start in this one, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. Yep. So I'm gonna start right here. Now for latch hook, it's not actually the squares, like if you know how to cross stitch, it actually is the squares because it's the space in between the two holes on the canvas. But with this one, it's actually a lot similar to plastic canvas. If you do that, you will start on the line. So I am going to start, hang on, let me remember how counting works. So I'm gonna say that this is the circle, the one that is not blue, right there. So now we will do that. I'm gonna try and do a zoom here because I know the tripod's pretty high up there so you can see a little bit better. Hopefully it won't be too pixelated, but I apologize if the quality gets really bad right now. So, our first color, according to the pattern, is white because it's part of this fence here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that out of my labeled bag. And according to my pattern, there's 3, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get those. Typically, once I get going, I'll have most of the patterns memorized, even on a pattern that was black and white. Like, actually, give me one moment. I've still got this bad boy lying around, which is, I believe just the second half. Nope, the first half. I don't know why it's just the first half. Weird. Which is basically just the first half of the last one I did, the tractor one, which can be linked in the card in the description, if I remember. So I did this in chunks too. You can kind of see where the highlighter fades in and out, and I just did lines and didn't bother. So this is what I'm more used to. The color thing's kind of throwing me off, if I'm being honest. It's fine. I'll figure it out. But yeah. So this one just has symbols like a normal cross-stitch pattern. You can read it as such. It didn't even have a color picker on the thing because it came in bags with them already labeled, so I didn't have to do all the matching thing that I'm still not sure I got right and might cause me issues later. But anyway, back to this. This one does have some symbols for the more confusing ones, so I think it should be okay. So yeah, to read the pattern, it's pretty straightforward. Each box represents one chunk of the color or one line, because each of your knots will be across one of the rungs, I guess, of the canvas. So the first thing that we're gonna have is 3 whites in a row, starting here in the upper left-hand corner. And I pulled them out earlier. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hook, and you can kind of see it has the actual hook part and then the latch. Wow, that's so big brain. So how you're gonna start out is you're gonna open the latch so that it's flat against the neck, I guess, of the hook, and push it underneath the other one all the way so that the little sticky out part is through. And then pull it forward enough that the little chunk of the canvas hits it and pulls it up. And then take one of your yarn bits and fold it over, just like that, the bigger part of the hook, and then take it and wrap it around the little sticky out bit, and then pull so that it catches the gathered string in the little eye of the hook, I guess, that it makes, and pull it through, and then it will be tied on there. And now you just have to do that a couple more million times and you'll have a completed project. So again, because that explanation was really bad, open the hook and then push it all the way through one of the holes. Pull it back towards you until the latch catches on the piece that you're trying to tie the knot onto. Wrap one string of the color that the pattern tells you around the longer part of the hook. Loop it around the sticky out bit. Pull it so that it's the hook is around the 2 strings, and then pull them through. And then pull it tight. And then, yeah, that's how you latch hook. A couple tips from me when you're first starting out: definitely go all the way across, and then all the way across, and then all the way across, just following the pattern one by one. Mark on your pattern what you finished frequently, because you will forget. Do it on a table and not on the floor like I always do. Your back will thank you later. It won't be as bad later. I'm gonna switch positions, so I'm leaning against my bed like I usually am. Right now I'm just sort of hanging out. But yeah, you just kind of vibe. Your knuckles will be destroyed, actually. My calluses are probably gone because it's been about 6 months since I did that tractor one. But especially on my hook hand, like my pinky keeps rubbing against the canvas. Like, it's rough. It doesn't feel good. And sometimes the strings or the yarn is rough too. I don't particularly like the texture of this yarn in this particular kit. But yeah, that's a tip. If you are doing by segments or like by color, like for example, all of this is white, so you do all of this, it's really hard to do the knots above somewhere. Like, for example, let me do something egregious. Hang on. I lost my white already. I do that all the time. Oh, it's only the beginning. It's been so long since I've done one of these. So for example, I have these 3 whites, and then it's going to be 3 more whites, and then a white here. Technically in the pattern there is a white here, but because of the way you make the knots, if there are knots in front of it, it's really hard to like deal with it. Like if I wanted to make a knot, there's not anything for the pattern here, but if I wanted to make a knot in this one, you can do it like to take out mistakes. I do all the time, but it's really difficult to pull the strings, I'm so used to friendship bracelets now, to pull the yarn through here and it gets caught on the other one and it's just a mess. So definitely would recommend that even if you don't go across, which technically I do recommend, but since I don't do it, I'm probably not allowed to. Just keep in mind that you should, if you're gonna do this one, then you have to have this one done, like, vertically from your perspective. So that's a thing. And then chunks of color. do that. You will get lost. Just count all the time. Count everything. Line up with the things. On that tractor time lapse, I know it probably doesn't show and I've never mentioned it before, but I screwed up like really bad and had to add in like I don't know. Like it's just that it was really wide across, right? So I was only working on one chunk for like a week and then went over to the other chunk, and when I came to do the middle and connect them, they didn't line up. Because I did something really wrong and couldn't figure out what it was. So I ended up like taking away an entire row and then adding an entire row, and it was just a mess. Don't recommend, not a good time. Funny enough, the biggest one I've ever done, I didn't have any issues with. I don't think I ever had any egregious mess ups, but I can remember the tractor one and the cat one were awful. If you want more context than just what I Hope Editing AJ is showing you on the screen, you can watch my latch hook collection video, which will now I suppose need to be updated for this edition. But yeah, do that. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I hadn't really seen any latch hook tutorials online, so I figured I'd do one since I'm doing all the friendship bracelets things anyway. This one's not as specified as friendship bracelets. I kind of like them both in their own right, because I'm kind of a sucker for huge, ambitious projects, i.e. my writing, and also crafting sometimes. But I do like the friendship bracelets, like the instant gratification of like being able to finish one in like a couple days or a few hours even. But I am ready for this big project. I'm super excited to do it. It's been a while since I've had a latch hook. So yeah, this will be a time lapse eventually. That's the plan. It won't come out for a while because this is a lot and I have a full-time job now. So love that for myself. But thanks so much for watching. If you have any other questions or something I forgot to explain, because I'm sure there is something, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And with all that, I'll see you on the other side of the rainbow. Bye!